from the playbook, the King James playbook, and Basketball Chosen One asked the soul of the game for court vision. And it was granted to him. Can I get a layup? The Chosen One didn't ask for hops. Coach Reverend, right? He didn't ask for hand. Why did the Chosen One ask for court vision? I'm going to tell you why. Just answer. He wanted glory for the team. I feel the soul of the game coming over me.
It's Matty and Patty, coast to coast from Brooklyn. I'm Pat McMenamin, and from San Francisco, we have Matt Youngner. Say hello, Matty.
Patty, that's getting me fired up, buddy.
A throwback.
I've forgotten about that one. I got to be honest with you.
Oh yeah. I thought of it the other night when I was trying to troll Scooter, our resident Cleveland troll. We'll talk about him more a little later, I swear. I came across that, and it just seemed perfect tonight. A throwback to start the Matty and Patty Cavs podcast tonight. Court vision. It was foretold in olden times, the prophecies of a great savior who would lead his people to the promised land, not simply through prolific scoring alone, but by making his teammates better. He would take us to greater heights than we'd ever known, but he would betray us. He would betray us and himself before we reached the zenith together. However, he would return and carry his people back to those lofty heights and deliver us all into the land of milk, honey, and buckets. In the process, he would redeem himself, but he would also redeem us all. So the prophecies foretell. But Matt, are the prophecies finally in hand? Probably not. Whatever the outcome of the Western Conference Finals.
Stepping all over yourself here.
We stand a good chance to be rolled by a healthy and dangerous team, but now is not the time to think on such things.
No, don't think about that now,
It's time to rejoice. Now is time to crow.
That's right.
Now is the time to be happy and to slake our bloodthirst with the kill list.
Oh, yes. Although
Matty, what? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's not much of a kill list.
I was going to say, did anyone on the Hawks rise to the level of murder?
We said this on the last podcast that nobody had gotten there because it was 2 wins that were relative beatdowns, and while we had that the overtime game in Game 3 and even the scrum between Delly and Al Horford, I don't think anybody got there for me. People got close.
Yeah, I mean, look, Horford got into a big fight. He dropped the people's elbow.
Horford did the dirtiest thing in the series.
Oh yeah, he dropped the people's elbow or the corporate elbow. Horford's a good guy. He dropped the people's elbow. He dropped the people's elbow on Delly.
I'm tired of the Dominicans getting passes for doing dirty stuff. Really upsetting.
They get a free pass.
The Dominican pass.
Dominicans, yeah, the Dominican pass.
Really infuriating.
The Dominican privilege that they
just lording over us all these years.
I mean, if you haven't seen them already, you've got to look up. There's some great mashups of The Rock doing the people's elbow intercut with Horford dropping the elbow and missing on Delly. That was maybe the most unforgivable part.
He wound up and was really going for it, and I think he had second thoughts about it there in the middle. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he got upset and went to do something and did something he regretted. But I don't want to murder him.
No, Horford's such a great guy. I still love him. I mean, frankly, the way he responded after the game. Look, I'm as big a homer as the next guy. But it's hard if you feel like someone's rolling up on you. You get real angry. You get angry enough to try and elbow the guy. Speaking of the kill list, right? He got riled up enough that he wanted to drop an elbow on that dude's fucking head. This nicest guy in basketball, right? Wanted to drop an elbow on his head. You get that mad, you get ejected, and your team loses. to have answered the press as classily as that, like, what did he say? He was like, no, he's not. I don't think he was trying to hurt me. I shouldn't have reacted like that. That was my fault. I screwed it up. And then the worst thing he said was, he's got to learn. He's got to learn it. Insinuating.
Yeah, I didn't care for that part.
Yeah, he was insinuating that Delhi's playing in a reckless fashion that is hurting players. That it's really his fault, not just really bad luck that he's been involved in too.
Well, there's also some suggestion there that Delhi is an other in some way, right?
Yeah.
That this is a brotherhood and you are not one of us.
Yes, the brotherhood. The brotherhood.
And I don't even mean that in a black-white way, just like in an unskilled, scrappy Hickory Hoosiers for a callback versus the real.
Yes, similar to the
way.
similar to the Celtics' defense of Kelly Olynyk. They're like, if you knew him, he was kind of uncoordinated, and
Yeah.
So he was playing that same card. But what I gotta say is, I'm sorry. That's the best I can expect from anyone. If I'm going to defend Delhi. He doesn't get close to the kill list. He's not even on my angry list.
No,
Bazemore got closest to me. Yeah, he got the closest for me.
He was. You mentioned this. We had the is he a mark or is he whatever you felt about him plucky? And I think
I'm gonna end this right now. He's a mark.
Thank you.
I have no sympathy for him.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was taking shots he shouldn't have taken. He was missing wide open shots, and he got frustrated and got into it with TT, and TT told him to quiet down. Yeah, I don't know how Tristan got that technical, but I guess it was to, I don't know.
But even there, Bazemore was never good enough or did anything bad enough to really get me upset. He
was good enough.
Teague was good enough for sure, and he was the player I was most scared of, clearly.
Yeah. And he has a face that I hate. I don't like his face.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
So he had that too.
And even I thought at the beginning of Game 4 when he gave Delhi the little shove and got called for the offensive foul on it, I thought, that had some potential, but they went quietly into that good night, and it's hard to want to murder somebody who just takes their medicine and goes to sleep.
God damn it, Hawks! I mean, thank you for giving us a sweep. Thank you for remaining playoff Hawks, not regular season.
Just
Hawks.
Ruining our podcast bit.
It is. I mean, it's making me happy as a fan, but it's really hurting the. I mean, we've made this the lead of the show. Of the podcast for a reason. So
the one saving grace here, Pat, and this I will give credit to my brother who gets very upset when he's not credited for things, is when this was the Horford Delhi stuff was happening, suggested to me that perhaps Reggie Miller is who should make the kill list for that game. And in the moment, I think I agreed with him.
Yeah, I was going to say, without hesitation, yes. Yeah, a consequence-free environment, his playing days are over. Just as announcing days lay ahead of us. Yeah, I might murder him.
He walked a lot of this back in Game 4 and said specifically that Delhi's not a dirty player, and I never really meant to suggest that. And I think
you're giving him too much credit. He did not walk this back. He did not acknowledge the completely opposite statements he made 2 days earlier.
That's fair. He didn't walk it. He just ignored what he had said before and just started on a brand new tack and acted like nobody should be the wiser.
Oh, my God. What an asshole.
So I was upset with him for sure during that game because I think he was just talking out of his ass. And Weber called him on it a little bit, although I think it was the kind of thing where Miller just kept going with it. And it's like when you're in a conversation with somebody you don't know very well and they're saying crazy things and you just don't want to keep going with it. And so you're like, yeah, sure, I guess. I can see what you're saying there. Right. Just because you don't have the energy or whatever, it's not the right time or place to get into it. I sort of felt like Weber got trapped like that a little bit.
Yeah, you're right in that middle ground between he didn't say anything outright racist that I need to stand up against, but he said something offensively wrong, but I just don't want to engage with crazy. I'm just going to nod and smile and hope we just move on from this.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So he came close. I was very upset with him.
Oh, yeah, big time.
During Game 3. I was mad.
We didn't get the ESPN crew, but I like to give a shout out to Mark Jackson. I think he might be on my kill list for announcers. He's one of the fucking worst.
Yeah, we'll have our shot at him.
Will we? Is he going to be in the? Is the ABC announcing team the ESPN team?
Yeah, I think that's one of the same.
God damn it! Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be a regular feature in the kill list in the finals. God, he's just the worst. He's terrible. He's a terrible announcer. He's a demonstrably terrible coach. Steve Kerr right now is taking the exact same fucking team that he had to the goddamn finals.
Yeah, it'll be especially infuriating.
Like fashion.
Especially infuriating if it as it appears to be, they were up 8 with about 4 minutes left. If it's Dubs Cavs, because he does all the talking about how he knows the players, and I taught this guy. He's talking earlier in this game about how he taught Klay Thompson how to run through picks and
If I'm the coach, he's not getting in. He's not getting back in if I'm the coach. Well, no, you're not the fucking coach. You're terrible. You got fired. And a GM who wanted to play coach just took your team to the finals. That's what happened. You're terrible. Yeah. Why are you? Now, here's one thing. There's other guys, other announcers I hate, and other players in the Hawks I hate. My colleague at HuffPost Live, Josh Epps, actually had a suggestion for me today when I was explaining the kill list to him, and he doesn't understand basketball or sports at all.
But he understands murderous rage.
Yes, he's Australian, and he understands murderous rage, so he's a fellow countryman into Delhi. He's a suggestion. He's like, I feel like there should be a scale that should end in killing. There should be steps below that. For example, firm slap in the face to Jeff Teague. Absolutely, open hand slap, Jeff Teague, Bazemore, 100%. Without hesitation, I would love to slap them. You? Just like Scooter at your bachelor party. When he hit me in the face with a football when I wasn't looking, he submitted to a slap. And I didn't really mean to, but I hit him as hard as I could with an open hand slap.
Now, that was incredible to watch, by the way. So, yeah,
right? Slap?
Yeah. Yes.
And I feel like Horford earned at most a nut tap. We'll get to that later. But
the sliding scale, perhaps something for us to work on.
Yeah, a sliding scale. So I think we can flesh this out. All right, before we leave the kill list alone, since the Hawks did not give us much material for the kill list, I'd like to talk about. Let's take our homer hats off for a second. Let's stretch our morality, stretch our objectivity, Matt, a bit. If you were any other fan, a fan of any other team in the league, who would be on your Cavs kill list?
Well, clearly Dellavedova's there, right?
Yeah,
that's the Twitter sphere tells us that.
I will defend
we'll get to that.
But yes, we'll get to that. But yeah, Delly has to be top of the list. Just reputation, face. I love his face. He's my guy. I'm a Cavs fan, but I would hate that face if I was not a Cavs fan. And the way he plays would be so annoying.
Sure.
Totally.
So he's up there. LeBron is up there for a lot of people. I think that he does a lot of stuff that makes people angry when he plays.
He is, but I never want to kill a superstars by thing. I feel like superstars are sort of off the kill list.
I've wanted to kill us. Oh, Pat, I've wanted to murder many superstars.
Really?
And Michael Jordan.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right at the top.
That's true, but I was a child, man. I didn't know right from wrong. I recognize the greatness that will be lost. I mean, he was a great player, but I fucking hated him. And you're right, I wanted him to die. I did.
No. I wanted to murder a super. I'll tell you what, if the Rockets had been able to hold on and win this, I don't think
I want to kill
James Harden.
Yeah, no, sure. You're right. Without hesitation, 100%. I would kill James Harden. The goddamn head fake. I mean, I got mad watching the Warriors game tonight, watching Steph Curry do this totally fucking fake shoot flop where he shoots the ball and then just
every
his arms. Oh my God. For 100%.
Get ready for that.
I would like 5 straight open hand slaps on that. I would love that. That drives me crazy. Now, at the same time, I looked at the replay and he did get fouled, but still, it was like the foul, pause, flail arm. It just that shit drives me crazy. Of course, I think it's great when Kyrie Irving does the curl around a screen and immediately jump up for a jumper, knowing the guy's going to run into him. But that's smart. That's like getting the guy up on a jump fake and jumping.
I agree. That's different.
Shooter. But the flail, oh my God, I would love him to be fined every time. That's the worst. Like the head fake snap that Harden does.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So suffice it to say,
we're talking about the Cavs, right? Sorry, apologies. LeBron.
So suffice it to say, I think there's LeBron is on people's murder list. I think.
Yeah, 100%. David Blatt, I think, has to be on a murder list If I was not a Cavs fan. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, here's what he's my magnificent bastard. I love him, but some of the shit he says, there's a lot of coaches I really hate, and I probably would say I'd want to murder them. I'm trying to think who. Pat Riley, I would want to murder in a heartbeat. No.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Again. Let's we did this murder list, the kill list, without the usual caveats of the explanation for what it's about. It's all about consequence-free environment. We're not advocating actually going out and murdering any of these people. It's thought experiments. If you had no aversion to killing and there was no consequences for your actions, I would completely murder Pat Riley if I could 3 times.
You think Black gets to that point?
I'm reading a lot of the way people react to him on my Twitter feed. They're now starting to respect him a little bit more because of their success. That's the thing. Like Pop gets away with being a dick. He gets away with being an asshole because he's successful. Blatt was just seen as the LeBron's coach. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, I thought people just sort of regarded him as incompetent.
Well,
I don't want to murder incompetent people.
Competence mixed with arrogance. I guess I follow a lot of reporters on Twitter, so I think they get more upset than most people. So.
Yes, so I think the average fan just doesn't think about him.
That's probably right. Perkins would be if he was, any good.
Perkins anymore. For sure. I think I might want to murder him, and he's on the team. By the way, I don't think we're going to talk about him a whole lot later, even though the bench crew got in. I want to say one thing, which was, did you catch Chris Webber say that thing about how Perkins' wife is in charge? He was like, Perkins isn't a tough guy. I've met his wife, and she's in charge. Perkins just got beat up by his wife. I did not take him out of a car and said, no, I couldn't believe he did that.
I did not catch that. Oh, my God.
Just went by, and everybody acted like, oh, yeah, of course. The wife's in charge. That's a thing that we all laugh about. And I was like, all right, hold on.
Jeez.
I don't know if Webber knew what he was doing or not, but
I think it's probably one of those things where Webber. We'll talk about Webber a little later. Again, we keep saying this, but this is a time and place to talk about Webber, and you know what I'm talking about. But and we will talk about that. But boy, he had an interesting game, game 4. I think he was just trying to be funny. Maybe of course I didn't actually hear what he said, but I'm just gonna guess he was trying to be funny and knew a little bit about Perkins' wife, knew about a little bit about their relationship, and kind of got carried away. That's my only guess.
I hope so, but it was it was at the end of the game. It was the blowout. Perkins was in, for goodness sake, not to beat somebody up. So, anyways, Perkins makes other people's lists for sure. After that, JR, I guess, probably makes a lot of people mad.
Yeah, I was gonna say JR was what my buddy Jim mentioned to me. He's a casual Knicks fan. He's more of a Rangers fan than a Knicks fan. He's more a hockey guy. But still, he mentioned JR, and I was like, JR, come on, how can you hate that? He's like a force of nature. He's like he's like a child wandering in the middle of a story. If you're a Knicks fan in particular, it's gotta be so frustrating watching what he's become after what you watched him be for the last 2 seasons. So I can see some of the hate there. I just don't think it rises to murder. I think that's at like Teague and Bazemore level in terms of, you're angry, you're pissed, you don't like them, but I can't.
Agreed. I don't think Kyrie's there. I don't think Shumpert's there. I don't think Mozgov's there.
I can't think. Those guys can't even be on the radar. They got to, they're just, Mozgov's a lumbering, he's like, who's that? Is that tall giant who doesn't speak and says one word in
Hodor?
Yeah, Hodor. Game of Thrones. Sorry, I got a little blank.
He has a little Hodor in him.
He's got a little Hodor in him. You can't get mad at Hodor. Shump is just, Shump's a little, likes a little swag, but he's just a hard player. He's, I don't see anything to be hate about Shump. I've always loved Shump. That flat top, come on. All right. So anyway, all right. So we got Delly. We got maybe LeBron. We got Perkins. Blatt. Maybe I'm off on, but I don't think JR makes a list. So that's what I mean. I think this all speaks towards what a really likable Cavs team this is. Beyond Delly and LeBron, it's it's hard because again Perkins doesn't play, so it's like you can't really want to murder him. He's on the bench the whole time.
That's true.
So it's down to 2 guys. I feel like that are definitely kill list worthy for the Cavs. So that's better than the 5-player average we had in the Bulls, right?
No, the Bulls are amongst the worst.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Matt, let's move on to some actual basketball here.
Do you want to talk about Delly a little?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Let's go back to Delly. Let's talk about him now. We were going to talk about him. You're right. We were going to talk about the individual breakdown. That's right. Sorry. I just moved right past that. Dirty Delly. I can't believe that I haven't seen any mock-ups of Dirty Harry posters with Delly on them yet. I mean, like, I'll ask the question that I already know the answer to, but does he deserve the rep?
No, not even close.
Absolutely not. I like to ask questions I know the answer to. This is ridiculous.
Can I lay out my case quickly, Pat?
Please do.
I'll do this quickly. We don't need to spend a ton of time here because people know how
it's ridiculous.
But one, the Korver thing was not close to dirty. My evidence for this is in the moment it happened, nobody said a word, including Mr. Reggie Miller, who went on his tirade in Game 3. It wasn't close to. It was unfortunate. I'm sorry that it happened, but that was gameplay. LeBron very ably after Game 3, I think, said there was people diving all over the court later in the game. Those plays weren't dirty. That's awesome. That's what you're taught to do. People admire that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not dirty at all.
Yeah.
The thing with Gibson.
One point before you move on. Yeah. With the moment he dove to the floor, there were no fucking legs near that goddamn ball. He was diving for a ball on the open goddamn court, and he got the ball and he pulled it away to his body. It's what you call fundamentally sound move, and it just his momentum just took him. It was a horrible fucking play. But go ahead.
Yeah. So the play before that everybody's citing, Gibson was the dirty player there, in my opinion.
Oh God!
Leading up to it, everybody acts like the quote unquote leg lock happened in a vacuum. It did not. There was a lot that precipitated it from Gibson, and that was the last tiny little thing that Delly did that was hardly dirty, couldn't have injured anybody. It was just an annoyance, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Horford thing, where again, in my opinion, and I think it's pretty obvious on film, Horford pulls him towards him. Delly falls on the ground next to us, does not take his knee out. Horford's knee was not injured. Horford reacted like he did, somewhat understandably, but then Horford went and did the dirty thing. So I don't think any of it's earned. He is, much like Anderson Varejao, a hustler, somebody who tries all the time. And I remember playing basketball, and the guys that are just always going at it and never letting up can be annoying. Yeah. And I get that. And I think that's what he is more than anything. And besides that, he's just gotten caught in a couple unfortunate circumstances. And each and every one of those things could not have happened, and we wouldn't even be talking about it. And the thing people keep saying
about him, you wouldn't mind that guy in your pickup game. Well, yeah, it's the goddamn playoffs. Yeah, you don't want him in your pickup game. It's not a pickup game. It's not. It's the fucking NBA playoffs. You know.
I don't think I want LeBron in my pickup game dunking all over me either. Yeah, I want slow white guys in my pickup games.
Yeah, guys I can actually succeed against. Guys that I won't feel like I'm a child against. But the thing that drives me crazy is how much everyone ignores the shit that gets done to him. I mean, people are saying like a dirty player. Do you watch how many times he gets popped in the face? Dude's giving so many dirty shots because they're so annoyed at him, and he just takes it without doing anything, without reacting. That dude is, and that's what's great about him. That he's just like Varejao. Varejao never reacts, right? He just does stuff. He does his work, and he gets a little in your face. The Jerry curls that he has that gets like in your face and annoys the shit out of you.
Mike Brown used to say he would breathe on people, and his hair got in their mouths.
Yeah, I think exactly, and I think Delly's a big, hard mouth breather. That's my guess. I have no evidence for this, but I think he is, because you get real close and you go, that's so fucking annoying. It's so fucking annoying, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's legal. Right. It's so annoying, and it just makes you want it. I mean, that's one thing I can think of when Teague pushed him off him, because it was such he was doing a nothing thing that Delly was doing. I think he was just breathing.
He was playing up on him. He was hounding him up the court, but that's
exactly.
That is not even close to dirty. So your friend or colleague who said that Delly is getting the same white guy pass that Mike Dunleavy gets.
You mean Benjamin Teitelbaum, producer for HuffPost Live? I know he's listening to this, or he will be listening to this. And
that's the one. I hope he has been properly chastised and knows that is wrong.
And not at all because I am his manager. Nothing to do with that. Of his own free will, he and over text, he came around to our way of viewing things. And that he was the one also kind of explained that pickup league analogy, because he does play a lot of pickup. And I said, I agree with you. I would hate to play with him in pickup, but this isn't pickup. So I think it's come around to our side. He's not dirty. It's just it's true. The real big problem that Delhi has is that he's been involved in 3 high-profile scrums, right? Olnick's only been in 1. It was a major one that was way more dirty than anything Delhi ever did, but it was 1, right? None of this explains, by the way, and Mr. Teitelbaum would agree, the free pass that Mike Dunleavy continues to get for the most incredibly dangerous and violent and mean-spirited, malicious play that he plays with. And gets complete. No one talks about that, and it's 1,000 times worse than anything Delhi's ever did. And I kind of want him banned from the league. That's how much I despise.
It's a Maddie and Patty podcast leading the charge on this one, Pat.
It is, and frankly, it's a full series removed from playing against him, and I'm still hot about this. I can't stand him.
I understand.
All right, Matt, we have actual basketball to talk about. I think we spent the first 20 minutes of this podcast talking about the kill list, which is, honestly not a bad cost-benefit ratio, I think, content-wise.
No, agreed.
But that means we have a lot to get to in the next, let's be honest, 40 minutes. All right, so to quickly recap, we fucking swept the Hawks 4-zip. Look, I'm the first to say, caveats. They weren't at full strength, but and we probably wouldn't have been swept them if they were at full strength. But we clearly would have won that series if they were at full strength. And I have a lot of good feelings for the Hawks, and I want to talk about them and their future a little bit later if we have time. But Matt, what were your overall impressions? I've given you my 3 keys. We just need 2 or 3 keys, but you kind of come with more of the analytics and the metrics. What's your take on why we won?
So I think it was more of the same, right? Mm-hmm. We crushed them on the boards. That never stopped throughout the series. They had no answer for TT, and actually when they did have an answer, had 18 rebounds in that game, and J.R. Smith had 10. Mm-hmm. That was when they really focused in Game 3 on keeping him off the boards.
Yeah.
And we shot better than them, specifically from 3-point range.
Mm-hmm. We knocked down open shots.
And that was the difference in the series. And and Game 4, I don't know how much analysis you can really do there, right? We came out and smacked them in the mouth, and I think that's hard to come back when you're down 3-0 like that, right? They were just sort of done at that point. That third game, the close game, that certainly could have gone the Hawks' way. I really think, looking at the numbers, the difference there was LeBron's terrible start. Right?
Yeah.
Which some of that was jump shots being missed, but a lot of it was he was just missing layups around the rim.
Man, bunnies. Yeah, it was crazy.
For whatever reason, and if he puts in, I don't know how many he missed, 4, 5. If he puts in 3 of those,
puts in 30% of those. He puts in a terrible percentage of those 10 misses. If he does that, terrible percentage of 10 misses, game's over.
The game gets a little different, and Thompson shot really bad from the free throw line, bad even by his standards. And so that really tightened things up, and the Hawks played better. Their 3-point shot got going in that game a little bit. I think they hit 11. I'm just looking at it now. Yeah, they hit 11 threes. They shot 36%, which isn't great for them. It's a little below where they're at, but much better than they'd done at other times in the series. And that was that game. But in general, the story was we crushed them on the boards. And we shot better, which you can read as we played better D than they did.
Yep.
However you want to read it, but it was they didn't have a chance in that series. I agree. They could have gotten that third game, but maybe another. It was not going beyond 6 in my opinion.
No,
almost no matter what.
6 was max. And I know Carroll was injured toward the end of the first game. So that was an impact on Game 2, and I get that. And then Korver got hurt towards the end of that game. It was getting hot, but I don't know. I think we really had their number. I think they probably would have Game 3 in that situation, but I still think we still would have won in 6. My 2 of 3 analysis, kind of held out for most of this because we got all 3 for Games 1 and 2 and 4. The only game we didn't get all 3, in fact, we didn't even get 2 of 3, was Game 3. We got the Hawks playing like the playoff Hawks, and that was about it. We got an amazing LeBron game. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
yes, it wasn't a very efficient game. It was LeBron's the reason we won that game, but we did not get the huge performances from other guys. They played decently. They all had, hit some shots, but there was no one going nova from the bench. And LeBron had an amazing for the ages game. We'll talk about more in a little bit, but it wasn't the efficient soul crushing LeBron that we saw in Game 4 for a bit. LeBron, that's the thing. So crushing LeBron in a game against these kind of Hawks means he doesn't actually have an amazing game because he's sitting for most of the fourth quarter. But right. The other thing that was crazy in this series, man, actually it's been like the entire playoffs, is the block party that the Cavs have become. I've never seen the Cavs. That was a lot of fun. It's crazy. It was not just the Hawks series. It was the Bulls series too. And it's not just Drago Mozgov blocking shots like he has been. It's funny, he was blocking shots in the regular season, but not like this. Again, he was blocking them a ton against the Celtics, a ton against the Bulls, and again continuing with the Hawks. But it was TT, who's who's been not known for his blocking, with some monster crushing key blocks. LeBron with a game saving block. JR has had tons of massive ricochet, he's had at least three, at least two, maybe two. At least two I can think of.
He had that really nasty one on Schroeder, where Schroeder had sort of gone around a pick and thought he had an easy layup, and
Pogo
JR
ball
just came out of nowhere
just
to get it.
That was off great. The blackboard. And even Kyrie had a nasty block at the end of the third quarter in Game 4. What the fuck is going on? Where did this come from?
So I think it is part of the more aggressive, keyed up defense that we're playing, right? That's the big story about the Cavs right now, is that their offense can still sort of come and go, and when it comes, they look great, but their defense, it was really impressive, and that is 5 guys getting after it, being amped up, going for those blocks, and I think that's what it is.
Huge.
More than anything, it's just the team being so focused, determined, and energetic on defense.
That summed up by what LeBron did. Was it after Game 2? Did we talk about this already?
Yeah, we talked about that one.
Yeah. Just that weird, just banging the ball against the. I mean, that's what it was. It's just crazy. All right, before we move into the individual player breakdowns, just a really quick, what the ref? Follow up.
I think the podcast is working, Pat. They started calling them.
Clearly, people are listening. They're listening. Our average 50 listeners. I follow metrics. I work in the internet. Our average 50 per podcast viewers so far.
Very influential.
Very influential. They've been talking to the league. They were calling moving picks on the Hawks left and right, and also on us, in some light calls. Because I didn't think we were. I still would wish we had been more aggressive on moving picks, and we still got called for a couple.
Yeah, no, it was. I think we earned them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to see him being called. I think it's the right thing to do.
That
is the rule. I'd like to see the game called like that.
100%. Here's another. Here's something to look out for. I feel like going forward, because I've noticed a little bit in the playoffs. Certain defensive aces and defensive teams get away with this. The Bulls certainly did. One of the biggest rule changes in the past 20 years in the NBA has been the hand check rule. It doesn't exist in the playoffs. You're allowed to grab the guy's hip and bump him around the perimeter now. And, it's frustrating to me because I don't think you need to do that on defense. I don't want my team necessarily doing it. It's great if they do, but I'm just, all right, great, you're fouling him, but they're not calling it. That's great. But any moment they can just blow a whistle. But they just don't sometimes. And when a referee calls a game like that, it kills, guys like Steph Curry and Kyrie. It's frustrating. I was watching it in this game. I think Draymond Green got up on James Harden. No tears for Harden, but it was geez, he's getting, what the hell was that? That's fouling. That's just 100% fouling. Yeah, you know what? It's really easy to defend when you can just grab the guy's hip and hit him a couple of times. That used to be the rule back in the day, and that was a different game. But the game has gotten much more exciting because of the freedom on the perimeter. Just make up your mind how you want to call it. That's my next thing.
That is a frustrating thing about the NBA is that the rules change.
Yeah,
seemingly in the playoffs and at the end of games too, for sure. Let's just hope we have some consistency in the final series.
Absolutely,
which will be against the Warriors. By the way, the Warriors have won, Pat.
The game's over.
Game is over. They won.
Game is over. All right, the Warriors and the Cavs, the NBA Finals. Steve Kerr going up against his once thought apprentice David Blatt, who almost was his assistant. He was going to be a Kerr assistant until the Cavs reeking of desperation called for him and said, please play for us or coach for us. We'll talk about the finals preview in another podcast. Just to be clear to everyone listening, we're not going to do the finals preview because we have like 8 fucking days. Is it 8 or 7? 8, right?
It is 8. It's next Thursday. Yeah,
we have 8 days. So we have 8 days to get to that. So patience. We'll get to that. We're going to finish talking about the Eastern Conference Finals first. Matt, anything else you want to say about the Eastern Conference Finals before we move on to the individual breakdown?
No, it's not. If you had told me before the series that Kyrie was going to be hurt, miss 2 entire games, half of another game, and then sort of barely play in Game 4, just played a little bit, he was good, and that we were going to sweep them.
Unbelievable.
Right, going into the series, I thought Kyrie was going to be okay because he'd gotten all the rest after the Bulls series, and I said Cavs in 6. Korver and Carroll injuries certainly helped the cause, the Horford ejection, but the Cavs were really impressive. That was a great win, and they were clearly the better team.
I called Hawks in 6. If they were the regular season Hawks, like a coward, and said Cavs in 6 if this playoff Hawks. That was wrong. It was Cavs in 4.
They clearly the better team. And I don't know if you saw Jason Lloyd tweeted out his final thoughts from the last Cavs-Hawks game of the regular season, the first time.
Oh no, I didn't.
It was really it's worth reading. Maybe we can post it.
Oh yeah, I'll put it in the comments.
In the comments for this one,
SoundCloud and YouTube. Go ahead.
But he called it because the Hawks won sort of convincingly. We talked about this before. They got big early. The Cavs came back, and then the Hawks just sort of put them away at the end. Mm-hmm. And his final thoughts were, I think he started out saying, this might seem silly to say right now, coming off this loss, but I don't think these Cavs are scared of this Hawks team at all. I'm pretty sure they think they're better than them. And I, Jason Lloyd, think they're right. And by golly,
he was right. I remember that because we talked about this before, about how it felt like they threw out their playoff plan at us, which was just dumb. They could have stolen the game with that plan. Instead we were ready for it. That's awesome. I want to read that as soon as we're done here. All right, let's start with Ivan Drago, Timofey Mozgov. I just want to start by mentioning one thing that I thought was fascinating. This kind of goes actually more to Blatt, but I don't know if you noticed in Game 4, that was a huge adjustment. They weren't trying to feed the ball to Mozgov like that in the first 3 games. That seemed to be something that they were holding in their back pocket for the right moment. And because we were up 3-0, they're like, screw it. we had the scheme ready to spring on them, and we're already up 3-0. If we're not going to throw it now, it's not going to happen. So I was like, oh, that's right. They don't have anyone that can actually match up to this dude who, as LeBron put it, that is a big motherfucker. They couldn't do anything about it. It was crazy. He didn't have to get he didn't have to get cute. He just they just gave him the ball. He dunked it. It was crazy.
No, it was great to see. I'm glad they fed him like that. I don't know that it'll be. I don't want to get into finals stuff, so I'll save what that might mean against the Warriors. But happy to see it. He makes me a little nervous under there. His hands still not great, and he comes very close to traveling on almost every possession where he holds the ball for more than a second.
It's a miracle we don't get the travel calls that we do. That we don't get the travel calls we should.
Yeah, they let a lot of guys get away with stuff.
They do.
It's a regular feature on Shaq in the Fool.
Yeah. I love the 9. What was the 9 count? Was that the record for Noah? I thought it was Noah.
Oh no, you're right. It was Noah.
Yeah, got that.
That's right. You're right.
That motherfucker.
But it was nice to see them going to it, and that was certainly an advantage we had. Our size advantage played out on the boards throughout the series, but it's clear that we could have gone down low to him. And I think if Love had been healthy, we could have fed him in the box a lot too, and gotten a lot out of it.
My favorite.
Great.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier that I want to get to it. My favorite moment of the game was Chris Webber just completely losing his shit when Mozgov had that weird dunk. He just started getting so excited and talking like a man because this is all I got, man. It was like a WWE speech, you know. I felt like he was. I thought he was gonna start like referencing Mean Gene in the middle of his rant. It was.
I think Miller had to tell him to calm down.
It was great. I felt bad for Hawks fans too. My Hawks fan Twitter was like, "Man, Chris, just calm down." I would have felt like terrible too if I was hearing that. It was, also, what is the rule on that? It was like because it was all one motion, but the ball hit the rim. It was above the cylinder. He just kept plowing through.
I think that was just.
That's continuation, I guess, right? Is that how the rule works?
I think so. I think that one's so crazy that you just got to let it go.
Yeah.
All one motion. Yeah.
Interesting rule perk while we're talking about announcers. Early in the series, we had a lead in the fourth quarter. It was still plenty of time left, right? And Delhi was bringing the ball up court and letting the ball roll and wasn't picking it up, right?
Yeah.
And what's his name? Who's the guy we want to kill? Get Reggie Miller is like laughing. This young guy doesn't know what he's doing. You want to do that when you're trying to catch up. When you have a big lead, you don't want to. It's like, dude, Reggie, the game clock isn't goddamn moving, or the game clock is moving. The game clock is ticking down. It's the shot clock that's not moving. That is genius, and I didn't even know that was a fucking rule. Did you?
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? That the game clock rolls until I think under 2 minutes.
I didn't know that. Did you know that before the series?
Yeah.
I did not know that, and I saw it happen twice. I saw Delhi do it twice. I was like, and I saw it the second time. I was like, at first I thought it was like, oh boy, I wonder if they could complain and reset the clock. I had no idea that was the rule.
It stops on a dead ball, but not after a score.
God, motherfucking Delhi. Love that guy. Speaking of Delhi and Mozgov, while we're on this last thing I want to say, if you guys haven't seen this, just Google Varejao tweet Delhi Mozgov. He had an amazing tweet from the celebrations after the game. An inexplicable tweet. It was like this weird triptych picture, and on the right side was two pictures of Delhi and Mozgov, shirtless, blindingly white, flexing their muscles. Holding
the championship trophy, the Eastern Conference championship.
Yeah, Hallie Davis Conference trophy. I have no words. It was WrestleMania. That was awesome. Favorite. It was one of my favorite things of the evening. All right, anything else to say on Mozgov?
No, that's enough.
Moving on to Shump. Shump, man, everyone on this Cavs team, Matt, is playing to bankrupt Dan Gilbert with luxury taxes in the offseason.
He's filthy rich.
I knew he was looking for TT money when we came over. He was in the same draft class. They're the same kind of super talented role player, but he wasn't playing that great in the regular season. He's coming back from injury. He was going to look great defense, hugely successful. We needed to get him back, but I was like, your offense isn't that great to really kind of command TT type money. And Jesus, I mean, he's getting to that level now. I mean, TT's now playing himself out of that level now, but he's playing himself to the level that we thought TT was at regular season, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. He's going to get, I don't know, $11 million a year, $12 million a year.
I don't know.
Crazy like that.
We'll talk about this after the season, win, lose, or draw. What the team should be doing in the offseason with these guys. But, basically my current attitude, which I'll repeat when we're done with the season, is if Dan Gilbert wants to pay the luxury taxes, just pay all these motherfuckers and bring them back.
Oh, yeah.
Just do it. So
Shump in game 4.
Go ahead.
Shump in game 4, what do you think he shot, Pat?
That's a good question. It feels like a trick question, so I want to say 40%.
He was 1 for 8 from the field.
Get the hell out! He hit one shot. Really?
1 for 8 from the field, a game high plus 27 and plus minus.
Oh my God! He only hit one shot. I do not believe that. I feel like I saw him hit like 4 3-pointers.
He hit 1 3-pointer. He was 1 for 8 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3-point range.
Oh my
8 boards, 4 assists, a block. Plus 27 in the plus minus. Interestingly, the game before, game 3, I felt like he missed a bunch of shots because he actually missed some shots in the fourth quarter when the Hawks came back on us. 5 of 11 that game, 4 of 8 from 3-point range.
Jeez.
He, I was sort of surprised by both of those things because I was watching game 3 thinking he had missed a bunch of shots and not played that well, and I looked at his line and it was really good. And I felt, it was hard to feel like anybody had a bad game in that game 4, but he wasn't hitting the thing.
Even when he's not hitting shots, he's driving the basket. Like he's making good things happen. It's just, it's like he's one of those guys
and his defense was
phenomenal, just phenomenal. And it could be a game. Again, we're not going to get into this, but it could be. It's one of the most important things going forward if we have any shot in the finals.
Absolutely.
The last thing I want to say before moving on is, Shumpert is one of those cusp guys. They're on the cusp of stardom, right? They've got the talent to be a star. He certainly thinks of himself as a star. The thing is that they kind of crumble as stars, but they nova as role players, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like when you get, and as he keeps saying, like what's great about playing with this team is that I get to simplify my role, and I get to to be really, really good at what I'm good at, and that makes him so much more valuable than if you were trying to make him a high usage, kind of star player.
Yeah, the comparison I think of with that is it's actually to football in coaching, where there's guys that are great offensive or defensive coordinators, and the move is always, let's make them a head coach. And they just don't have the skill set to be a head coach. You need to do other, you need to be able to manage people or whatever else, all the other crap that goes along with being a head football coach. But you can be great in that particular role. And it's a poor assumption to think that you could just move up and succeed just as well. And I think that's very true of role players in the NBA. And Shump's a great example of it.
Absolutely. Do you know who's another great example of a cusp guy that crumbles as a star but is supernovas as a role player?
Who's that?
I'm sorry, Phil Jackson. I was for real. I wanted to blow in your glorious garden, but I was lost in a triangle. And I had to leave your man. Too much thirsty.
I'm going to let this run a little bit.
So good.
Oh, it's so good. Soak in the tub.
He's so good.
He is so good. So good. So right, I should say.
So right. That's right.
So right. JR, obviously another one. That's why I feel like he wasn't so good in New York after his one good 6 Man of the Year season. He was having to do too much. He's having to carry the team, and he's just got the perfect role here. I was watching him junk ball in the game yesterday, and even his junk ball, he would be, I feel like last year, or even like when he was with this year with the Knicks, he would junk ball around the perimeter and take that shot one step inside the 3-point line off the dribble. And now he's taking that junk shot. Oh, step behind the 3-point line. Now this isn't a terrible shot. Step back 3-pointer. If you're going to step back from that range, just step behind the 3-point line. He's doing that. I mean, not always, but much more often. It's just so great to see.
I have 2 JR notes.
Go ahead.
One is second on the team in rebounding, I believe, in both of the last 2 games, 10 rebounds in each of them.
Crazy.
Just getting after it.
Yeah.
Same on his defense too, right? He is really playing hard out there.
Yeah.
The second thing, I don't know if you noticed this. I think it was in game 2, and I actually forgot to mention it in the last podcast. It was a really small moment, but I think it was right before halftime of game 2. Mm-hmm. The Hawks scored, and the Cavs were inbounding the ball and had a few seconds to get it up and score, and they screwed it up. I can't remember who it is. Somebody made a bad pass in and a bad pass over, and they ended up just sort of throwing the ball away. And LeBron was furious, absolutely furious. The camera went on him afterwards, and he was screaming. And I'm pretty sure it was at JR, because the next thing they panned to was JR, hands on his knees, just shaking his head, feeling like a dog, looking like a dog, and really taking it to heart. And like Delly had to come over and sort of pat him on the back and say,
"Come on, man,
pick him up a little bit."
Yeah.
But I think it really speaks to him feeling like he has a role here. Just what LeBron said, which was bring him here and I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And my God, true to his word, right? He is taking care of it, and whatever it is, LeBron gives him the space. You can't say that he's not being JR, right? He's still doing the stuff that makes him fun and taking the selfie on the podium and all that stuff. But he is in line without. I don't know. I feel like LeBron's just a consummate manager here, right? Like he has given him the space to be himself, but sort of define the parameters in a way that gets the most out of him and does the best for the team. And if that read is accurate, it is a really incredible thing that LeBron's done and speaks to his role for the team overall.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron loves that too. LeBron loves his, going to the club with JR. I mean, he fucking loves that. Watch him all the stuff in the locker room, all the click up stuff. I mean, he loves having that part of JR as long as JR is taking care of business on the court, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's helped lead into the buy-in from JR. It's like JR is clearly bought in, like really, genuinely, completely.
Right.
It's so fantastic to see.
And also goes to LeBron is not a psychopath like Kobe is.
Yeah.
Who's even when Kobe is acting like a human being, you're like, you are acting like a human being. This is how you see other people act in these situations, and you're mimicking it. I think LeBron is generally like a nice, fun person that likes to hang out and have a good time and just has this serious side too. And I think guys, everywhere you've seen him go, people respond to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I appreciate that leadership style.
Me too. And I loved seeing JR mid-press conference pause to take a Instagram and TT mid-answer pausing, posing, and then continuing. Just so perfect. Quick question, Matt. Did you see the headlines on Lil B trying to lay a curse on the Cavs?
Yes, the Cavs avoided that curse, I believe.
Yes, they did. I was just gonna say. So if you haven't seen it, Swish took a video of himself, LeBron, Kyrie, Shump, and Perk. I think Perk's lurking in the background.
That's a good word for him.
They're dancing in the cold tub, right? They're dancing in the cold tub, doing, I guess, the Lil B dance. It said, sending a warning to LeBron James, Kyrie, J.R. Smith, and Iman Shumpert. Y'all stealing swag, Lil B cooking dance. What y'all doing? Warned. Shump took care of business. He was not fucking around. He knows enough about what Cleveland's been through. He just responded, appreciate the swag, killer. Okay, finger emoticon. Brown block. I don't know how to read emoticons. I cooks, I chef, basketball, all love. Apparently smart, Jillian, because it worked. He just a little bit of response. Appreciate it, brother. I got you. Enough said. Go Cavs.
Pat, when you're playing for a championship, just make the goddamn sacrifice to the gods and move on. All right, you don't want to. Why take that risk?
Absolutely.
Just do it and take care of business. I appreciate Shump doing that for us.
I appreciate Shump doing that too. And before we go, if we have time, I might have to share a story on this as well for what I did. I did a little something.
For sure.
But I want to get the TT and Kyrie and oh my God, there's so much to get to, Matt. We are going way over time. Let's move quickly because we don't
have to do a ton on all of it.
We don't, and also we don't have really commercial breaks, but people only have so much time to listen to us, so we don't bore anybody. All right, let's move on to TT. If you guys haven't seen it, there's a fantastic new piece from David McMenamin. It's basically all the hilarious shit he couldn't fit into his gigantic profile on Tristan Thompson that he published at the beginning of the playoffs.
Yeah, it was just like the outtakes.
Yeah, it was the outtakes basically. What were your favorite parts?
I don't want to steal yours because it's the one you sent me, but I think the highlight is definitely I don't eat fish because fish eat their poo.
Yes. He also only eats hot food and he hates cold cuts.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
I hate cold cuts. You gotta be warm.
It's right there in the name. I feel like he's never even eaten them. Somebody was just said to me once, would you like some cold cuts? And he was just disgusting. Cold cuts? No.
Cold cuts? Why would I want cold thin meat? What? Since you stole one of mine, I'll steal one of yours. The other part that you and I both love is that he's a spokesman for Timmy Hortons. I just didn't realize.
Oh, yeah.
He's so Canada.
He's got an endorsement deal with Tim Horton, and when he goes home, he just walks in there and it's like, all the coffee and donuts, please. I love that.
He picks up his little brothers.
And that McMenamin specifically makes a Kramer reference.
Yes. But Tristan, this is
a good piece.
This was coming out playoffs, but this was his coming out series. I feel like it's just because he just punked the Hawks. They couldn't do anything. He was so out of control. He warming up before Game 3. He bloodied Mozgov's nose.
Yeah,
he like dunked on him, and just the blood started pouring out. But also crazy. He played the last 8 minutes of the game with 5 fouls and had a monster game-saving block. I mean, he's so good. He's so good. And you know what, Matt? He's still not as good at basketball as Kevin Love. Let's just stop it. I'm just going to say it again. I love him so much. We can just luxury tax. Just spend the money, buy them both. I don't give a shit. Get them both.
Agreed.
Kyrie, the decision to play him was, I guess, kind of controversial. Riffle, our buddy, our non-SH players buddy, was kind of questioning the call, thought it was a terrible idea, and thought we should be pulling him out. And Siggy actually also said, don't, we got this. It's a terrible idea to play him. They're, morons, obviously, both of them. Because my impressions, I said several times in text to you and others, if he can move well enough laterally to play D, we ought to play him. I know, yes, we can probably win this series without him, but you don't fuck around. You just close this game out right now, end it. Do not let them hang around. Do not go back to Atlanta to play another game. You end this game right now if he's going to help. If he wasn't ready to help, if he's going to play like he did in Game 1, he was not ready to play. Game 1, he was not healthy, even with the time off we had. He was not ready to play. And if he was feeling like that, we shouldn't have played him. But clearly he was fresher. And we had the perfect game plan, right? We short burst, 20 minutes total was all he played, 20 minutes. It was a perfect little game plan. And the last thing I'll say is that there is this something that's not picked up by metrics, right? It's just the perception, the locker room vibe of one guy, a star even, sitting when he could play, while other guys who are big players are banged up and powering through it. Like, it was good.
Especially coming off of what LeBron did in Game 3.
Oh, God, collapsing the floor. He couldn't not play that game. It was one of those career-defining moments. He had to play that game, even though, the intellectually smart play was to sit him and play the odds that he has more time to heal up. Also, this gives him a chance to get into rhythm. This is good. He got into his rhythm. He got his swag back a little bit. He's got some confidence going into the finals. He felt like he did something in this series. It would have felt weird to play if he didn't play in Game 4. He would have sat on the bench and missed the whole series. Basically, he wouldn't have done anything to help us win. And he helped us win last night, so that was awesome.
No, I think I agree with you on all those counts. Those are all important points. We wanted to put a stake in him. We did, and he was helpful for that. Mm-hmm. Kyrie had a huge first quarter, put in a bunch of buckets that helped get us out to that lead. He clearly was able to play well enough to not be a liability. That was one of the other criteria that we had. And I think that last one's important too. It's just it's like a skin in the game thing. And now he has the time to get himself right. And it was certainly a risk. I would not dismiss that. I don't think it was, there was no risk to it. I don't think that if you think they should have sat him, you're a fool. I think the Cavs took a calculated risk. It worked out, and they were smart about how they handled it in terms of minutes and everything. Worked out great.
Agreed.
Absolutely great.
Agreed, and to be clear, no one would be a fool for saying that. As I said, intellectually, it makes total sense. Totally rational to have sat him. But I really felt it was the right call to play him. And I've said that before the game, and then I'm glad he didn't hurt himself because I would have felt like an asshole.
And most importantly, Pat, it was able to give us the wonderful thing you sent me. Which you have to post below here. I don't think it's gotten nearly enough attention.
No, it's amazing.
It's so funny. My wife even laughed at it.
It's better.
You could not care about basketball. It's the best.
It's more skillful. It shows faster hands. It shows more guile. It shows more skill than any shot he made in that game. I'll post it, but I'll bury. I'm not going to bury the lead. Too late. I'm not going to make you watch it to see what reason why you should watch it. He is going off from the sidelines, giving high fives. It's late in the game, so we're obviously up big. He's giving those back of the hand high fives to a bunch of guys. And Varejao walks up in his suit. He's excited. He gives Kyrie the high five, and Kyrie does it without any beat miss. He gives the slight tap to the high five and immediately goes down and gives him a nut tap, back of the hand.
And Varejao's reaction is the best.
It's so priceless. He bends over. But then you can see the beginnings of a smile of the motherfucker got me again. You could tell from that one hit that Kyrie does this all the fucking time.
It's not the first time it's happened.
No, that was not the first time. That was the look of a man who got gotten and knew he should have seen it coming. He should have seen it coming. He's like, oh, God, it got me again.
I think that we'll have a chance to talk about some blowout moments, I think, in a couple players. We can talk about LeBron, but I think that might have been my favorite. That brought a huge smile to my face.
It's so amazing. It may take me a while to find, but I'll post it in the comments below. Quickly, James Jones, you had a great question for this.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer. I need to do a little research to see if I can dig this up on if this information is publicly available. I think he took more threes. I think he took more threes in the series than he dribbled the basketball.
Number of total dribbles.
Number of total dribbles.
I think you might be right.
I started counting after game 1, and I think I counted 4.
Oh my God! I think you might
have never happened.
I think you're right. I think you might have more makes than dribbles.
That's possible too. That's absolutely possible too. I feel like the team should just run traps at him immediately because he's just going to stand there and try to pass the ball. He's terrified to dribble. Who was it?
Happen when he dribbles. It really does.
Oh yeah, Weber I think called him out on it because he had a 3-pointer that he pump faked and the guy went by him and he just had an open lane in front of him and wouldn't go anywhere. Just could have just taken a couple dribbles up and shot a free throw basically, and was just clearly too terrified to do that.
Also, odds-wise, he takes that shot so rarely. Just keep shooting the three. That's all you should be shooting.
Yeah, no, that's I agree with you. He should not take anything besides 3-pointers if he plays again, and I guess worrisomely he will.
Also, we should probably not be. I think out of respect to James Jones, we should never speak his name without saying James Jones 5 straight finals appearances.
Yeah. Although I read somebody say that he actually didn't appear in one of those finals for the Heat.
Oh.
Like he was rostered but didn't play in any of the games. So he's on 5 straight finals rosters, but LeBron's the only one that played in all of them.
That's good for LeBron because James Jones doesn't give a shit about that.
Right. He's along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly. David Blatt, we talked a little about him already. There was a new Terry Pluto piece. It was great. I saw a tweet from him last night saying, I have a piece on David Blatt coming. I'm like, oh, great. Can I see it after the finals? But be
ready for a training camp.
Exactly. It was posted about 10 minutes later. So I take it back, Terry. It was nice little piece. Most of the stuff I already knew about him, but just good stuff to read to just remind you of the shit. I mean, it's crazy. David Blatt has seen his family once since November. One time he got to see his family. That's what's crazy. He left his family behind in Israel, which is, a crazy place. And has been playing here this whole time. Netanyahu, called him after the game to congratulate him.
So really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, but Blatt sounds not like Kudnik, but he definitely sounds very hawkish when he gets to talk about Israel. He's not unapologetic about it, but that's sort of in line with his personality. But the last thing I wanted to say was just the piece gives you more evidence of him as a secret good guy, but a public asshole, which is kind of what you want.
So touching on that, Pat, and you sort of said this after the last time. If somebody had done what he had done coming off the Bulls series, he would have been publicly filleted. He was not. Your theory was because he's an asshole. I watched the Warriors went up 3-0 the day before the Cavs won their third game, right? And they blew them out. So they sort of had time for this graphic because maybe that plays a part in it. But they threw up this thing that Steve Kerr, I think it was just rookie head coaches in the playoffs, was about to go 11-2 in his first 13 games. And that tied the best all-time record with Riley, and so I can't remember if it was Auerbach or somebody, but it was, only a couple guys had done it. Mm-hmm. I did not see that graphic thrown up after Blatt won Game 3, after the Cavs won Game 3. I did not see that graphic that he had tied or beaten the record by going 12-2 in his first 14 games after they won Game 4. Yeah. He's gotten no credit for that. And I think you could make a pretty serious argument that the job that Blatt's had to do this year is more difficult than the job that Kerr's had to do. Kerr took a team that was good and made it great, or whatever level you want to put it.
A team that was together, that had an identity, that gelled, had already gelled, right?
Right. And Blatt took whatever we had at the beginning of the season, incorporated all the pieces that we had to incorporate, has dealt with all these injuries through the playoffs. You got to give him some credit for that. LeBron gets a ton, and deservedly so, but I think it's time for us to start giving Blatt some credit for that too. I think we said that after the Bulls series, right? Like, we loved him in Chicago. We'll see how things go after that. Things went about as goddamn well as they could possibly go in that Hawks series, and he deserves kudos for that.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the most important player on the Cavs, the chosen one, the one who asked for court vision.
Pat, I love you doing a preacher, Southern preacher.
I don't know. I feel kind of racist doing it. It just feels wrong. Is it?
No, it sounds wrong, but I really enjoy it. You slip out of it almost immediately. You're very white, obviously, and that starts to come through.
Exactly.
But I enjoyed it at the beginning. I enjoyed it just then.
I'm too inspired. I mean it with all happy intent. Inspired primarily by that commercial, not by any real life experience whatsoever, which is true about most things that I do in my life. Not based on real experience, but inspiration from things I see on TV. But anyway, LeBron, God, thank God he's back.
It's the best, isn't it?
Things that were crazy, and I'll just pause right now because I think we're about closing on the 1 hour mark, Matt, and we have a lot more to talk about. So I think let's just make a decision right now. Let's push through. Let's make this. We got like 8 days, so people can listen to this in bursts, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's push. I got a little time.
I got a bunch more to talk about. So, look, LeBron played the point center for 4 minutes. Towards the end of Game 3.
Yeah, that was great.
He went down with 5 fouls. That was insane. What was that lineup? It was LeBron at center, James Jones at power forward.
Correct.
JR.
Smith, Shumpert, and Dellavedova.
Yeah, insane. And we maintained the margin, I think. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. LeBron was just flying everywhere. I mean, like, it was so.
Now, of course, the Hawks were without Horford during that time.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, so that afforded us the luxury of doing that, but still,
that's true. But also, we were keeping Mozgov out of that game entirely. Mozgov could have come into that game. Mozgov was on the bench available.
That's true.
Which is also crazy.
True.
Mozgov sat the entire end of Game 3 and then became the most important big in Game 4. Like, that's what makes you go Blatt. Holy crap, playoff Blatt. That was like. Mm-hmm. Totally different sets we threw at them.
No, I think he knows what he's doing with Mozgov, especially.
My favorite summary of Game 3 was the extemporaneous subtitle that ESPN put up on LeBron's box score, where it said, "No one has had, no one in any NBA playoff game has had such numbers." Yeah. I would propose that we call this LeBron's such numbers game.
Yeah. What a crazy game.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. I was just losing it throughout that game. 37 points, 37 shot attempts. But, yeah, you take away those first 10 misses, that's 27 shot attempts. It's a crazy line. 37 points, 18 boards, 13 assists, 14 assists? I can't remember. It was crazy.
13, I believe.
Unbelievable. And then, like, the most amazing thing to me, and I'll leave the floor to you to finish on LeBron. I thought LeBron's best work was done at the podium after these games. You referenced it before, but LeBron had the perfect defense of Delly. First of all, we were amazed that Delly came out for that. I mean, LeBron, first of all, made the press wait 90 minutes for that. He's like, I'm getting my treatment. I am exhausted. I need my treatment. He shows up, in his ridiculous outfit, while Delly shows up in the exact same hoodie that he had on the first time. Somebody said it looked like Delly was a prize fighter that just won like a 12-round bout, and LeBron was his promoter with that crazy hat. It was great. But LeBron, like somebody like asked Delly another pointed question about him being a dirty player. LeBron just like puts the hand out, like just physically defending like Delly from like a reporter throwing a bottle or something. It wasn't just that they stood up for him. It was the perfect defense, better than anything any other commentator or Twitterer said about the Delly dirty controversy. He put it better than anyone did, and he just played like the game, like one of the best games of his life, one of the hardest games of his life. And he said, quote, "There's no difference between what Delly did to Kyle Korver last game and 18 guys diving on the floor late in the game tonight." You and I talked about this, man. The exact same play. He remembered it. Like he had it right there at the top of his head. He said it was like 6 or 7 guys diving on the floor for that loose ball. Just no one got hurt. In game 2, when Antic shoves me out of the air, the fact that I'm still playing, we don't talk about it. But he 2-hand shoves me in the air. So what are we really talking about? Are we trying to talk about us trying to win basketball games, or about those guys trying to figure out a way that Matthew Dellavedova is this type of guy? He works his tail off every single day. He beats the odds. He comes to play as hard as he can every single night. If they're focused on Delly, then they're focused on the wrong thing. Like, God damn, that is a working.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, that's amazing. It's just obviously I'm failing right now to even form a sentence. He's just coming off an amazing game like that, and then just saying something. What he's saying is more profound than anything else anyone else said about this. Just
it that ties into my thoughts on it, which is statistically, he wasn't great in the Bulls series, right? We talked about that before,
right? And
his shot is still missing in action. He's still turning the ball over a little more than we'd like.
Yeah.
He's not the athlete quite that he used to be. Not that he's not still incredible at times, most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But this other facet of the game that I don't want to start talking like one of these guys that doesn't like analytics, but the stuff that doesn't show up in the numbers, right?
Yes, no, but
like
there is
that
stuff.
part.
There is stuff.
Him as
that's one of the things that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. Kyrie game 4,
him as a leader of men.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to believe there's some truth to that stuff, right? Like this team and its players believe in themselves, believe in what they're doing as a team together. There's something special about that.
Yeah.
I loved the game 4 that he dropped the Teddy Roosevelt man in the arena quote on everybody to tell everybody.
Teddy Roosevelt, the end of a playoff. I mean, God damn it, this guy's awesome.
And my favorite thing that he said was, I told the guys at halftime, our goal for the game is to get Joe Harris in there.
With a straight
That's what
face.
we're playing for.
With a straight face.
He meant it. I think that when I first I read it before I saw it. When I read it, I was like, oh, that's sort of mean.
But he meant
I don't think it was mean at all. I think he was like, I want this kid to play. Everybody has admired the work he's done all year. He works hard in practice. He deserves some time in. I want him in. I want him to score a bucket.
Yeah, and that was you and I said this when we're getting to that point in the game, which we'll talk about in just a second. We get to the point in the game where we can relax and we can bring the scrubs in, right? We can bring in the bench players, the bench mob, like the real deep bench mob. I was like, oh man, Joe Harris is scoring a bucket tonight. Because last time he got that game time at the end of Game 6 against the Bulls, he was launching up the worst 3-pointers. He wanted to score a playoff basket so bad. We knew he was going to do it again tonight. And then he did, and then he made like one more awesome play where he drove to the basket, pump faked the pass, and then laid it in. This sweet little play, and he fell down. LeBron rushes over, picks him up, and then just like tousles his hair like he's a 6-year-old, right?
Oh yeah.
Like 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, keeps doing it. And Joe Harris is like, come on, man, stop. Like Dad, leave me alone. It was just amazing. Like just the sheer love that he has for his teammates. You can't, look, it's really hard to hate on. Look, obviously as a Cavs fan, it's hard to hate on, but I firmly believe it's really hard to watch this team and not feel good about them.
No, I agree with you, and I think we'll touch on that in our finals preview maybe a little bit more. But
agreed.
I started to believe there's something special going on here during that
and
series.
I thought the last thing was really amazing. His final line at his press conference last night, he said, "I can't guarantee a title, but I guarantee you we're all going to work our ass off." And then he just got up and left. Like there was no like pausing. Like, are we done? He just got up and left. The guys got with him, and the reporters, like a couple of them, just started applauding. Which is crazy.
I heard actually that there were fans in the room.
But I don't know. I heard the applause, but I also heard it. The tweets I heard was more like sheepish reporters being like, yeah, fans got in." I don't know. I feel like I feel like a few reporters lost themselves for a moment, and because look, come on, a lot of the Cavs beat reporters are rooting for the Cavs. That's just that happens. You get into a team and you root for them. They try not to do it. They try to be objective so they can be, to be professionals. But I think they slipped for a minute because it was awesome. He did a good job.
Yeah. I'm so impressed with him. So glad he's back. So disappointed in our friend Scott Fuller, who has taken this absurd "I don't want to be happy" stance.
Scott,
everybody should be upset about.
He's
about to be a father. What an example to set for your child. A terrible, terrible example.
It's just about the worst thing. It's just about the worst thing. As I said in my preamble, my monologue, my sermon at the top, my highly offensive sermon. He didn't just redeem himself. He redeemed us. He winning the title isn't just about redeeming himself as a player and his promise to Cleveland. He's coming back to finish business, and he will make it okay what we did, because what we did was out of love for the Cavs. When we got upset when he left, that was pure loyalty. Pure loyalty was saying, "I don't care what you did for us. You just left us. I'm going to burn this jersey," or whatever. We not that I'm advocating burning jerseys. I didn't do that, and you didn't do that.
I think two people did it.
Yeah, exactly. 2 people. Yeah, exactly. Come on, 2 people did it.
It wasn't Nazi Germany with us out in the streets, everybody burning their jerseys.
The rest of us just turned on him and rooted against him hard because we're Cavs fans. We're not LeBron fans. Yeah. We were never LeBron fans. LeBron we loved because he was a Cav. That's why we loved him. And he made it clear that he loved us because he came from here. That was part of his whole thing. And it seemed genuine at the time. And we obviously doubted it when he left. And it's clear now that it was genuine. He just had his own thing he had to do. And I get that. I get it. We've all forgiven each other. And that's the thing. Is it like that's the point, Scott. You have to forgive at this point, because as a Cav fan, you turn on LeBron when he leaves. Yes, absolutely. And anyone that gives Cavs criticism for turning on him is ridiculous. Any Cavs that didn't turn on him is not a Cavs fan. You should turn on him. But the minute he comes back, you take him back and you cheer on the Cavs. You don't hold on to the grudge. He let go. We let go. So, Scooter, come on. It's the finals, goddamn.
Grow up.
All right. Matt, I now I have to tell my story. So this win, this Game 4 win, did not happen in a vacuum.
No, Pat, you did something incredible, didn't you?
I did. I'm not exactly proud of it.
You're not exactly not proud of it either, though.
But I'm not exactly not proud of it. It's an accomplishment. It is an achievement. To be clear. Let me begin by caveat, Matt, and you can just back me up on some of this. Just to be clear to anyone who's listening who doesn't know me, I am an intelligent, rational human being. If you can't tell from the podcast, which is possibly you might not be able to. I have a bachelor's in history from the University of Rochester with honors. I was in Phi Beta Kappa. I have a working understanding of odds and statistics. I'm a science nerd. I'm a fan in general of rational explanations for everything. My greatest personal embarrassment, people have their skeletons in their closet, is that I cannot entirely shake my sports superstitions. I understand rationally that it has absolutely zero effect on the outcome of any game, but there's a tiny kernel in the back of my mind that says, of course. But But what if? What if? All right, so let me move ahead. Earlier in an earlier podcast, I told you about Arthur's Kyrie Irving jersey, right? Game 3 against the Bulls. He refuses to wear it to sleep, and what do? We lose on a buzzer beater. And he's worn it. He's worn it every game since. What have we done every game since, Matt?
I believe we've won all of those games, Pat.
Yes, we have. I'm not saying
that's quite a streak.
I'm not saying, because rationally speaking, that would be crazy. It would be absolutely crazy to suggest that Arthur wearing that jersey had anything to do with all of those wins.
And yet,
but what if? Are you willing to take a chance? Are you willing to take a chance on the 0.0000002 the millionth degree 1% chance that it does actually have an impact on the game? Are you willing to risk that? You don't care about the Cavs, Matt? You don't care about the Cavs?
I wouldn't risk anything close to that.
Good, exactly. So I watched Game 3 against the Hawks at my in-laws in Scarsdale, New York, which is a good 45-minute train ride from Manhattan, where I work. I mean, that night was crazy. I had to pee 6 times during the night when I was going to sleep because I would take a drink of water before every position down the stretch, and it would lead to good things. So I kept doing it. It's like that's my general basic pattern, basically here. Anyway, I woke up yesterday morning before the game time. I laid out my Dion Waiters jersey. It's part of my routine. And I looked for Arthur's Kyrie Irving jersey, and I could not find it. I was bugging out. I couldn't focus at work. I texted you about it, freaking out. I emailed my mother-in-law, and she has it in Scarsdale. Yes. 45 minutes north, away from my home. She put it in the wash without telling me, and I didn't pack it when we left for Brooklyn. So, but I happened to go to work early that day. I knew I could get out of work at 4 o'clock. There could be plenty of time. I told Becca I'd be home early, but even if I left at 4 o'clock, took the 45-minute train ride to Scarsdale, ran the 10 minutes to the house, grabbed the jersey, ran back to the train station, caught the 5:15 train back. I'd be in by 6, take the train home to Brooklyn by 6:30. That's still earlier than I would normally be home. So I don't need to tell Becca about this, right? This is a little embarrassing to my wife that I was going to actually.
She doesn't need to know.
She doesn't need to know this, right? So I don't tell her.
What she doesn't know won't hurt her.
Exactly. I get in the train. I'm rationalizing. I'm like, this will be great podcast material. I'll get a chance to write a lot in the train. This will be good. This is why I'm doing this. This is not because I'm worried that this actually will have an impact on the game. So I take the train. I do it. I catch it. As I'm leaving to go home, Becca calls me to say, all right, so you're going to be home in like 30 minutes because I need to do some work. And I say, all right, I have to confess. I'm actually in Scarsdale picking up Arthur's Kyrie Irving jersey to go home because I'm worried about the game. And busted. She's, needless to say, not pleased with me because she's a very busy person. She's launching a new business, and I really jammed her because apparently I forgot that the nanny had to be relieved by 6 o'clock, and I wasn't going to be home till 6:30. So now I'm worried. I'm worried I'm counter jinxing it, Matt. I'm worried that I've like reverse karma'd it by screwing over my wife and now put bad karma on the Cavs. So I apologize profusely. She doesn't want to hear it. She's not answering the calls, not responding to texts. I race home. I bring her flowers. I grovel. I do chores around the house. I just make her feel better and happy and understand how sorry I am that I totally spaced out on this. And she seems to feel a little better. I think our marriage is okay, Matt. I think we're gonna make it.
That's good. She probably deals with stuff like that all the time too, Pat.
Yeah, exactly. So
this happened to be your sports superstition nonsense. There's a lot of other nonsense she's got to deal with.
This is true. There's a lot more nonsense that they have to deal with. The kicker to the story is Matt. Arthur wore his jersey to sleep last night. Can you tell me the outcome of Game 4?
I believe the Cavs won, Pat.
That's goddamn right. They won. That's goddamn
handily.
Right. That is goddamn right.
I think you did the right thing.
They handled that game the way I handled this ridiculous, embarrassing superstition thing. I fucking took care of business. I didn't hesitate. Right. I got on the train at 4 o'clock, went to Scarsdale, came all the way back, took a shot to marriage, made up for it. She's forgiven me, and I am duly embarrassed, and I will never ever do it again, honey.
Pat,
I love you more than life itself.
Pat, do you know what
Yes.
LeBron talks about?
What does he talk about?
Sacrifice.
That's goddamn right.
People have to make sacrifices in order for a team to win.
Sacrifice.
Maybe that includes the fans. And
Yeah.
I think your lovely wife understands that.
Yeah. Now, there's
Some part of her.
There's a reason I buried this story about 70 minutes into the podcast, is so that hopefully no one at work will actually hear the story and think that I am this stupid.
You left work early to go take a train to Scarsdale to get a child's Kyrie Irving jersey so the team could win.
Well, it worked. It worked. So in that vein, before we let this thing go, there was one last thing that we want to talk about, which is something that you and I just to make sure you're not anywhere near my level of insanity with this, but you do share a little bit of this. You do have some irrationalities. And some of them are entirely rational. For example, you and I both are constantly convinced the Cavs are going to blow it and choke even when they're handling their business, right?
Yes, that's mostly just self-preservation, though.
Yeah, self-preservation, but also experience. I'm sorry, we have a long track record of doing it. So
yes,
so
I know something terrible is going to happen. I want to prepare myself for it.
Yes, it's better. It's better to have my hopes down, to expect it and dread it, than to have my hopes up and have them shattered. Scott Fuller.
Hopes up is the worst time. That's when things get something terrible is going to happen.
This is going to be a bash Scooter podcast, just because I'm still angry at him for getting my hopes up about the Browns like 3 seasons ago, when I knew I was already like not into them, and he got me hyped up about them for 2 seconds, and then we blew like a 30-point lead against the fucking Patriots. Oh, yeah. God damn you, Scott. Anyways, come back to the light, Scott. Come on, root for the Cavs.
Hope is a dangerous thing.
We love you. Hey, Scott, if we can all forgive LeBron, we can forgive you. Come on, come back. All right.
That's right. We will.
But this is the biggest challenge, right? We have had a lot of big leads in games. We've blown a lot of them, actually, and barely won a couple of games in the playoffs. And I started trying to figure out, like, first of all, the Cavs, a lot of times they would play prevent offense with, like, 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's like, dude, prevent offense being you dribble the ball until the last, second of the shot clock and throw up a terrible shot. That's right. Prevent offense.
Different than chewing up clock. Different than not rushing into a shot. Yes. It's waiting until there's 10 seconds left and then running a play, right? That's not what they were doing.
Yeah,
they were dribbling until there were 3 seconds on the clock and then trying to get up whenever they could.
And junk ball. That's not acceptable when you're only up 15 points with 9 minutes left. That's not a big enough lead. So I started wondering, what is the point that we can mathematically calm down, and it would take an epic historic choke of all proportions, which we could adjust our expectations to if because it would have to happen early, right? If it's 8 minutes out and we have a big enough lead that we can relax and they go on a big 15-point run, okay, then we can start worrying again, right? We have time to gather ourselves for the dread. We have time to prepare ourselves for the choke.
We can at least momentarily relax.
Exactly. So I kept thinking, I was like, it's got to be like 4 minutes. It's got to be at least 8 minutes. No, was it even? No, it was. I think it was. Wait, was it 8 minutes? I've already blown this now. I think. No. I think it was. It's.
Matt, I think you said 9 minutes. I think you said 9 minutes. I think you said 9 minutes and 32 points, 36 points, something like that. It was 4 points a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Let's work backwards. We worked it out as my math is wrong on my sheet in front of me, because I was looking at this. This doesn't make sense. 4 points per minute basically is the fastest rate you can really reasonably expect to score if the other team is trying to drain the shot clock, right? If every possession you're going to have on offense is going to be 24 seconds, it's hard to score the basket in less than 6 seconds, right? So 30 seconds for a 2-point basket, 4 points per minute. You kind of need what? What does that come out to?
30. Everybody asking me what 4 times 9 is? It's 30.
So basically, it's 4 minutes and 16 points, right? You need like a 16-point lead.
Yeah.
4 minutes left to feel safe.
Yes.
Which is kind of depressing, right? It's like you can't. If a 16-point lead and 8 minutes left, you can't be calm. No, I can't be.
No, and I have a difficult time being in the room with people who start celebrating in those moments.
Oh no! I will yell at people that do that. You can't do that.
No, that's a great way to jinx something.
Yep, exactly. And then the best part, I think, was last night. I quickly did the math and figured out when we were on like 8-9 minutes out. I'm like, you know what? Honestly, if we get 28 points with 9 minutes to go, and we were up 25 minutes, right as we're ticking down to 9 minutes, or maybe it was 8 minutes, I can't remember. I was like, then we can actually, I think we're fine. I think we're okay. As I'm typing that to you, J.R. Smith does a step back bomb from the left corner for 3.
Yes.
Done. We can relax.
We can both enjoy the end of the game.
Getting closer after that. It was fantastic. So that's the rule, guys. Yeah. If you're trying to figure out when you can relax about the Cavs, and realize that we're okay, we're going to win this game, you just needed to take how many minutes are left and multiply by 4. And if we're up by that many points, we're in the clear. You can crack open the champagne, but be ready to be able to bottle it back up again if they go on a run.
You know, it's funny, Pat. I just remembered this. I think I read that Bill James, noted sabermetrician.
Yes.
In baseball, but also a huge college basketball fan of the University of Kansas, actually tried to work this out statistically, like what time and point spread of when a lead was safe. And I can't remember what his calculation was, but I also think he ended up deciding that it wasn't really doable.
Huh.
I think he found there was no set formula that really worked for it. I mean, there's obviously, if you're up 50 points with 5 minutes left, you're fine, but down to a very fine scale, he could never find anything that worked, I'm pretty sure.
Well, fuck you, Bill James.
Nothing is ever safe, Pat. I don't know if you haven't learned that. I don't know what you're doing.
I knew that already, man. I just was hoping there was some way that I was wrong and that I could actually relax and enjoy myself with a big lead. Yeah. Instead of
match cannot save you. Nothing can save you.
Instead of shaking uncontrollably for 3 hours and drinking copious amounts of water and beer.
That's it.
That is it. All right. Well, we're nearing the 90-minute point, Matt. This is a fantastic, epic. I think it fits the occasion. We're back in the finals for the first time since 2007.
We should feel really good. I think we can the next time we talk before next Thursday, we can start to worry and get upset about things or get excited. But right now is the time to be really happy. We're back in the finals. That is an accomplishment in and of itself. This team is a lot of fun. It's a really nice time to just be happy and enjoy it and spend the next week just feeling good.
Just feel
before
good.
We get into the grind.
And that's the best part, Matt. We were saying after the Cavs won the Bulls series, before we started the podcast, part of me was so excited, not just that the Cavs had won, but just that I could have my life back for a couple of days.
Yes. This is a whole week now.
It's a whole week that I don't have to be terrified. I don't have to have that building anxiety while I'm trying to get work done going, why am I – oh, that's right, there's a game tonight. That's why I'm anxious. Or plans being ruined, and I'm sorry, honey, we can't go on date night tonight. We don't have to worry about any of those things for the next 8 days. We can actually enjoy our lives and then let the madness begin for one more ride. The finals against Golden State, June 4th, not June 2nd. Goddamn NBA. June 4th. We needed every day of that rest to get Kyrie right. And it'll be exciting. Couple of house cleaning measures. I wanted to pay a eulogy to the Hawks. Obviously, we ran out of time. We
can do that a little next time.
I'm gonna say, or also a season ender, because I have some thoughts about the Hawks and what they should do. I love to talk about them because I will say one thing about the Hawks before we go. I like their team. I like those guys. I like their fans. You sort of hate, you hate it to be them. I would have loved to have beat a number of other fan bases to get to the finals. I'm glad we beat the Bulls and the Celtics. That made me very, very happy to beat those insufferable fans and their teams. Obviously, not all their fans are insufferable, but goddamn, so many of them are. I also want to talk a little bit about Cavs fan fallacies, but I think we can wait for the finals preview to talk about that.
For sure.
So that does it for the third episode of the Maddie and Patty Cavs podcast. We'll be back with a finals preview, as we've alluded to throughout the podcast, sometime next week. Not sure when we should do it, Matt, but we'll figure it out. We'll let everyone know. We'll post it somewhere.
For sure.
Anything else to add, Matt?
No, that's it. Enjoy the week. What a great series. What a fun team. Everybody should feel real good right now.
Fantastic. All right. Until next time, this is Maddie and Patty saying friendship. See you, Maddie.
I don't like how you did that one. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, it's a little off. Bye.